Hi, everyone. Lior and Thomas are here to talk to you about something cool that we have going on. We're going to talk today about a new series around the Microsoft MVP program and how does that fit into the Azure Hybrid universe that both of us are working on. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Lior is here, and I have my good friend with me, Thomas. Thomas, how are you doing?
Doing well, always when I talk to you, Lior. Always.
You know, I always said this. It's weird that we're talking all the time. I don't know. Maybe we should do something different. I also want to make sure that everyone are noticing the fact that both of us uh, have our nerd shirts going on. You know, me and GitHub, and you with Microsoft Azure. By the way, I need to get one of those. Um, so, Thomas, I wanted to get together with you because we're starting something new. We're starting a new series. And this is the introduction episode for that series. Is part of it. And this is really about the new things that you and I are working on, and also our friend TB, when it comes to the Microsoft MVP program. And generally speaking, it's part of the overall motion around the Azure Hybrid community. But before we're diving into that, Thomas, I want to share with you something. When I joined Microsoft 7 years ago, I was a part of the VMware community. I'm still am kind of, and I was a V expert for many years. And when I joined Microsoft, I didn't really knew the MVP stuff, and your name popped. I think as I was kind of starting my journey in Microsoft, and now destiny led us to that point that we're working together. And I wanted to ask you just kind of your take on the MVP program, and just kind of because I know that you've been super involved with this. So talk to me about this for a second.
So yeah, I think the MVP program is something very unique to the community. I know like a lot of companies drive these like influencer programs, but Microsoft, I don't even know how old it is, probably older than myself, probably. And what it is really is like non-Microsoft people get awarded by Microsoft for the community and passion about technology they share with others, right? And help others in that sense. And then if they do enough of that work, they get awarded. And with that award, they then also get some additional benefits. So they get obviously some of our software for free to try out and use that to make demos and all that. And a couple of other things as well.
Yeah.
But I think what is the most valuable thing about the MVP program, and that's my personal opinion, but one of the things I think is the most valuable is you get an NDA with Microsoft. And that means you can talk to the product groups and engineering and all the PMs around it under a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah.
So they can actually share very early information with you, and you can have these discussions because you are basically becoming a recognized subject matter expert for a specific topic inside Microsoft.
Yeah.
And so the product group is obviously like taking that very serious, and learning from you is one of the main benefits Microsoft gets, right? So it's a great product. It's also a great community. People usually in that, all the Microsoft MVPs in that community help each other out, help others to become MVPs as well, and just make sure that like, hey, you can get started with the product, with the software, you find solutions. How can I do this? So yeah, very exciting product.
So there is a certain prestige to that, right? I mean, when it comes to the MVPs, as I was starting to work in, and again, it's no secret that both you and I are working very closely on everything that is Azure Hybrid, which is what we're going to talk about or introduce today in the context of MVPs. But as I started to just kind of be more and more involved in this community, I realized that there is a good amount of prestige to that. It's not just you write a blog post and that's it. You're an MVP. There are criterias, barometers and parameters to just kind of get to the point that you're being recognized as an MVP, which is kind of cool. So Thomas, the reason that we wanted to do this series is because we're starting something new. Well, we actually already started. By the time that this video will go up, this thing is already in motion. There is the Microsoft MVP, but now we are introducing a new contribution area. So talk to me about that.
Yes, correct. So obviously Microsoft is a large, very large company, and we have MVPs working for all different topics, right? We have MVPs for M365, for our Office products, for Windows Server, for Windows Client, for Windows Development, and so on. Now, what we are doing is we are basically refining or redefining or rebooting a new contribution area called Azure Hybrid. And that covers all our Azure Stack HCI, our Azure Arc, our AKS hybrid efforts, but a lot more than just that.
Yeah.
And so all the MVPs are actually creating content on this, working with these products and services and solutions, and share feedback with us. They're basically becoming part of this group. And so we are working with a couple of early MVPs on this to make sure that we can provide the right experience there, because we want to make it very collaborative, right? We want to give the MVPs early information. We want to give them a platform to promote themselves, but also their solutions and their help they're developing. But then also we want to obviously learn from them. And when I say we want to learn, it's not just you and me and Tibi. It's basically the whole program groups behind Azure Hybrid who want to learn the experience, right? From people who really are deep in these topics.
And Thomas, in conversations that you and I, we have those conversations, you have a very good way to define, or kind of, you have this cool slogan that you use when it comes to the MVPs, right? What is it? Is it like our best contributors and also our best critics, something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I call it our biggest fans and our biggest critics at the same time.
Right, that it is.
Yeah, because they're obviously supporting us. They're supporting our customers. They're supporting others in the community. They share their knowledge. They help out if someone has a question. So they really love the things we're doing. They stand behind it. But they're also so deep in the products that they actually know what is not so good or how we can improve this, right?
Yeah.
And so they are also very vocal, obviously, about this. And that is what we so appreciate about is these both sides. Is like, okay, on one hand, you help others use the product, but you also tell us what we should improve. And so that has tremendous value, obviously, for Microsoft.
Loving it. So, Thomas, before I do have a question to you, just kind of how people should think about it in the context of getting started. Like if you're a current MVP, or if you have aspirations to be an MVP, I want to ask you about that. But before I do, this is also part of just kind of an overarching motion that we started in the past few months around the community. Or, we've been doing this for a while, but we wanted to start putting some structures around that, around the community, the Azure Hybrid community, which we're leading. And this is like the pinnacle, right? This is like, if you want to have the most direct access to the product managers, to the engineers, the people that are actually working on the products, but also getting firsthand on the contribution opportunities, this is what you should aim for, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, as you said, we have the Azure Arc community, right, which you're running with our monthly calls. We have our AMAs. We have our internal communities and so on. But again, if you're also really want to contribute on this and really want to be the leading edge on this, that is where you want to be. And so there's certain things you need to do, because still you get an award from Microsoft, right? This is not just, and it's not just the paper you get. Again, there's a lot of involvement into this. You get, again, a lot of like subscriptions and services and all that, but then there's also a lot of time involvement from the product group itself, actually talking to the MVPs and learning from them. So we want to make sure, obviously, that these are actually people who really know their stuff, and also helping. Like, there's not just about knowledge, it's also about sharing that knowledge with others to make sure that everyone can be successful.
So It's a great segue, Thomas, and maybe wrapping this introduction session with tell me, if I'm new to this, what should I think about? If I'm a current MVP, what are the contributions that I can think about or I should aim for in order for me to get into this new contribution area?
Yeah. So absolutely. So first of all, obviously it's about the technologies, right? For that contribution area. If you're working with M365 and stuff like that, that's great because they have their own MVPs for that. But if you want to work in that, think about like our Azure Stack portfolio. Think about Azure Arc, especially about AKS Hybrid, about our hybrid story with Windows Server and others. I think that is where you can drive value. Then when you create content, there's a ton of different ways to create content and make yourself visible. And you need to figure out what is working for you, right? So can be videos, can be blogs, can be helping out in forums, can be on Learn. There's also some projects we provide you with opportunities where you can help out, where you can provide feedback. And one of our great offerings, obviously, where we're looking for is, like, for example, the Azure Arc Jumpstart project, where you can collaborate and basically add things and help working on this as well. And that's basically also a good way. If you are not an MVP yet, maybe that's a good start to get you on the radar and start working with the community and with Microsoft on these topics.
And historically, right, people were writing blogs and they, just kind of do their own jam, right? Videos, all the things you said. There's also Microsoft Docs, which is a great way to contribute. Obviously, there is a weight to that contribute. If you contribute like a massive amount of content, that is noticeable. Just kind of pick that on our radar when it comes to the MVPs. So I'm loving it. So Thomas, maybe to wrap things up, thank you for spearheading this. I know that there's a lot of things involved when it comes to the reboot effort for this contribution area. Obviously, there are a lot of people that are involved with that. We also have TB from the Azure Stack product group that is joining us with this effort. So Thomas, what is the one thing that you want to wrap up with when it comes to the MVPs?
Yeah, so first, there's only just one thing. As I want to say a big thank you for everyone who is doing all this amazing work and sharing their knowledge with the community and with Microsoft. Because I know that this takes a lot of time, right? This is time which you usually do in your free time. You use that in the evening, you use time at the weekend, and you help others with this. So the only thing I really can say, a big thank you for all what the MVPs and also non-MVPs, just community members who are sharing the knowledge, are doing right now. We had the first call with the MVPs and people were so dedicated. They joined like in the middle of the night to that call because time zone wise it didn't work.
From the hospital?
From the hospital. So yeah, I mean the dedication.
This is real. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The dedication of these people is just amazing. And I think we cannot say thank you enough for that work. And again, if you out there are not an MVP yet, but you want to become one, definitely check out the series Lior is doing here. We talks a lot with MVPs. And so there will be a lot of knowledge for you, not just technology-wise, but also like, hey, how do I become actually an MVP? What do I need to do? So there's a lot of interesting things happening. So definitely check out this series, follow the blog, and subscribe.
Yeah, definitely make sure to subscribe and make sure to follow this. I also want to ask the the audience, let us know in the comments below, are you planning to aim for this? Are you currently an MVP? What are the things that you're thinking about in the context of contributing? And obviously we'll share all the details in the description below. As always, Thomas, pleasure to have you here, and I look forward to seeing all the awesomeness that will come from the community and from the MVPs. And we will see you in the next video. Thank you, everyone.